It is day 2 of your trial for Tom Robinson. And today you're going to hear from Mayella Ewell. I do want to quickly review or go over the evidence from Monday's testimony. Remember that we heard from Tate and we heard from Bob Ewell. So I want to just go over that in case you, 1, were confused and didn't ask any questions, 2, you didn't read, or 3, just as a refresher. So in that testimony, we heard that Tate came right away. We know he's really serious about his job as sheriff. He's really proud to have that role. He said that Bob Ewell was there with Mayella and that Bob Ewell had said that he saw Tom Robinson raping his daughter. Tate also described the injuries that Mayella had. They were on her right side. It looked like someone gave her a black eye and put their both of their hands around her neck. Okay. So we also heard from Bob Ewell. Bob Ewell said that he was working in the field or in the woods, chopping wood, and he was on his way back in when he heard her scream, and that he saw Tom Robinson raping her, but he couldn't run after him because he was helping Mayella. He stayed with her, but he did go and get Tate then. He also did not call a doctor. Tate doesn't call a doctor. Bob Ewell doesn't call a doctor. Nobody calls a doctor for Mayella. Nobody. Okay. And even though it's the 1930s, they still, collect evidence and they still have police procedures. So essentially, none of that was done. So some of the biggest conclusions you should come to from day 1 testimony is that someone who is left-handed most likely beat up Mayella Ewell. There is no evidence, there's no report because no one called a doctor. So today, you're going to hear from Mayella herself. And just like Monday, there are 4 boxes within the testimony for you to fill in. And so you want to think about who Mayella is and how she is described through the narrator's perspective. And so this would be what Scout would tell us about Mayella Ewell. So we learned that she's 19. She is the oldest of the Ewell children, so she takes care of all of them. The mother's gone. She hasn't been involved for a long time. Okay, so your job today is to read Mayella Ewell's testimony. And again, if you feel like you cannot stop, you are more than welcome to read chapter 19. That's the testimony of Tom Robinson. This corresponds with chapter 18, the testimony of Mayella Ewell. So finally, when we get down to the bottom, it will say, why is Mayella important to the case? Obviously, she's the victim. Okay, you should say that. But why else is she important? What does her testimony prove? How does it help Atticus, or how does it not help Atticus? So we want to just think about that as we go through the trial. Next week, you'll hear finally from Tom Robinson, who is the defendant in the case. And then we'll talk a little bit about this evidence, the evidence we get from his testimony, and if Tom Robinson is actually guilty. If you have questions or concerns, or you want to read through a little bit of this together, or you want to get clarity on something, please come to live class at 10:30. The link is in the instructions for this assignment. If not, I look forward to reading your inferences.